All right, everyone. So out of nowhere, we got a Vince McMahon interview that's on TMZ. That's part of some larger Fox documentary that was coming out, and it's about Hulk Hogan's passing. So I did not know this was coming, but we saw the clip, so we're going to react to him here. And here we go.
When you heard that he had died?
Shock. We just don't think about someone, a family member or someone that close to you. You don't think about them passing away.
And Hulkamania will live forever.
Terry had kicked out, so to speak, of so many surgeries. I think he had like 20 surgeries on his back, plus others on his knees and hip or something. And he overcame all of that. It was a tremendous shock. It was a blow to my heart.
We had
So it's interesting to see, how Vince has not been doing many interviews, especially since all the lawsuit, the allegations, all this stuff. But clearly, this is something that is like I need to be interviewed about this, right? I mean, they probably reached out to Vince, but when he got it, he's like, yeah, this is something I need to talk about. This is something I need to discuss, and it's clearly something that bothered him, greatly. Which, by the way, is not shocking. Okay, then I thought this was pretty interesting too. He was asked about not being there on TV, right? So they had the big thing where they had the 10, what is it? That yeah, 10 bell salute. Eric Bischoff was there on the Raw episode. So it was a very, very nice thing. They did it 2 nights in a row. And then they had the beautiful video package, and Vince was not asked, clearly. And here's what he said to that.
Hulk, the 10 bell salute. You had such history and such a deep friendship. You must be having such mixed emotions that you weren't there to be part of that. It really struck me that way.
Struck me that way as well.
Hulk.
So it's pretty clear Vince is kind of upset that he wasn't asked to be there. Now, I don't know if anybody felt that he was going to be there in terms of, with everything going on, the lawsuit's still ongoing. I'm not sure. Obviously WWE legal clears everything, right? They cleared Brock, and that's when he returned. So for even something like this, as you know, as insignificant as it may seem in terms of having any impact on the case, when you have this tragic event of Hulk Hogan dying, Vince McMahon being there on the stage, feels like it would have nothing to do with the case, but you just never know with the way the law works if that would have some impact. So maybe that's a reason. Maybe WWE was like, look, this is going to be more headlines, and he's just not part of the company anymore, so there's no need for us to have him here for it. And I understand why he would be frustrated by it, a little bit upset, but I wasn't like, oh, Vince isn't there, that's shocking. I don't think many people were necessarily shocked by that. I just found it quite interesting that with everything Vince is saying here, well, it's not really interesting. It's just one of those things. It's kind of like the Vince McMahon documentary where you're really getting a side of Vince we haven't seen all that much, right? A side of Vince that's a little bit more of, really letting his feelings about things known. And something like this, I mean, to say, just brutally honest, it was a tremendous shock and a blow to my heart. And he's saying, look, I didn't think, this guy had so many surgeries. He was doing this, he was doing that. I never thought that he was going to be, yeah, he just never thought of it that way. Now, I thought I also put, there was another one in here that yes, okay, this is the other one I wanted to do. So this is also, oh, no, wait a minute. No, these are all the same ones. Let me see, because he said something. I want to find this too. He said something about um, him being booed. Um, Maybe not. I thought this was on. Oh, maybe not. I thought he definitely said something about Hulk Hogan being booed as well. Is this okay? No, that's part of the thing. That's part of the thing. Um, I guess I can no, hold on a second. Let's try. Let's maybe Wrestling News was the one that put it out. It was on. Okay, that's talking about. I guess not. I could have sworn. Well, basically, I remember what he said. I don't know why the clip isn't there, but I remember what he said. He basically said that, he was not happy with, that it hurt him that Hulk Hogan was booed. And I brought up at the time, I had to retweet this. Hold on. Let me see if we could find this, because let me search. Vince McMahon. Let me search this. We shall find it. I thought I put that in there. I must have. Wait, what's this?
Larger-than-life setting up, so to speak, this larger-than-life superhero. And you don't just let him walk out there. He deserves something very, very special. And more than anyone, they owe him. It was like, okay, and here comes Hulk Hogan. I got angry because that's not the way that I would have done it, and he deserved much more. Setting up,
So that was the clip I was looking for. And I actually, if you go back and watch our videos at the time, I agree 110% with Vince on that. Now, I understand the reason that, people at the time were like, oh, this is why he's getting booed. And I know people were saying, well, he's gotten booed in other arenas before. But I really believe that why the booing was so uniform and so loud, and it was so like, okay, they are 100% just booing the hell out of this guy, was because of how it was structured. You had Hulk Hogan going out there. Remember, you've had a ton of guys come back from the past. Hulk Hogan, Stone Cold, The Undertaker, so many others. And they've been cheered because they're part of the show, right? Even if it's not part of the show that maybe people are like, oh, this is the greatest thing of all time. Still, they enjoy it. When you have Hulk Hogan go out there and he's doing an advertisement for his beer as him returning, people are going to not like that. So on top of maybe he was already going to be getting booed, regardless in some way, shape, or form, add on to that now. Add on to that you're having him do a promo for his beer. It's basically an advertisement that, look, nobody wants that. You could have had him wear the shirt. You could have done a million and one things. That's just not the way you do it. So I agree 110% with Vince on that one, where you have to understand that if you're having Hulk Hogan return, and maybe his return is to sell this beer, you don't do it by having basically just an advertisement for it. That is setting him up for failure. And that's exactly what happened, right? I 110% agree with Vince on that one. So I'm glad we found that clip. It's just, it becomes a situation of, look, I think Triple H has done fantastic creative. I think there's a lot. And we don't know what was going on behind the scenes in terms of who knows what Hulk Hogan wanted to do. Who knows what Hulk Hogan could have done, right? Maybe there was a pitch of, hey, do this, and he didn't want to do it. We don't know any of that. But from what we saw, I'm in lockstep with Vince on this one thing, which is, man, they did not do him the service that he deserves. So thank you all for watching, and we will see you next time.